Hello! Welcome back to Star Wars Minute. It's the daily podcast where we analyze, scrutinize, and celebrate the Star Wars movies 1 minute at a time. I'm Pete the Retailer from PeteTheRetailer.com.
I'm Alex Robinson from AlexRobinson.fun.
I'm Suzen Tekla Kruglnska. There's a website that's like Suzen Tekla Kruglnska WordPress. No, Kruglnska. I don't know. I should have researched this. But if you can spell my name, you can find me out there. And I do the Comedy Film Funnel.
There you go.
And I'm Joe Dator, and I also do the Comedy Film Funnel. And I'm the illustrator of the children's book Santa Doesn't Need Your Help, written by the brilliant and former guest of the show, Kevin Marr.
Yes. Everybody should check that
throw
out.
That out there. I know it's not Christmas season, but
it's summer, perfect time for
that. It's coming back. When Christmas season gets here and you're looking for gifts.
Like Crazy Eddie, you can celebrate Christmas in July by buying, was it July
or
August?
It's sweltering.
August.
Yeah, it's August. The sun is sweltering. The streets are hot and sticky. That means it's time for Crazy Eddie's Christmas sale. I remember that commercial like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
I have a bunch of Crazy Eddie stickers on a shelf. I literally have the stickers from the albums that I bought at Crazy Eddie's still in my apartment. Yeah, that's how I loved Crazy Eddie's.
Yeah.
Sure. Who didn't? I'll tell you who didn't. The Federal Trade Commission.
Yeah, that's true. I once tweeted something about Crazy Eddie, and one of his brothers added 50 replies talking about how he was innocent. Just came after me just for mentioning him on my Twitter page. It was really something.
Well, hopefully we don't get bogged down. But we all love Crazy Eddie. Let's let the record stand.
I think we loved Jerry Carroll, who was the actor who did the commercials. I don't know if any of us really loved Crazy Eddie himself, but I remember shopping there for
the store
vinyl records back in the 18th century.
Yeah. For your wax cylinder,
but
device
back in those days,
you could grab them off the shelf right next to you. There's grab one of those stickers and hold it up. Do you know where it's on that shelf right next to you?
So minute 44.
Yeah, so it's minute 44 of Crazy Eddie, where we find out whether or not his price is really insane. No, minute 44 of Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. 44 starts out with the prisoner being revealed. And it ends with Finn asking, "What's wrong with Kijimi?" So
I couldn't find
That's the Chamber of Commerce. That's what Kijimi's phrase.
Next episode.
What's wrong with Kijimi?
I'd like to point out something very special happens in this minute. The dead speak.
Dead speak.
Well, they roar technically. The dead roar.
That's true. Yeah.
Well, Susan, now that Chewie is revealed to be alive, what was the clock on the final Chewbacca countdown?
We're revealed. We find out. Too much to our surprise that Chewie's still alive. Here he's walking into this minute.
Dead Wookiee walking.
2 seconds into this minute, he walks in. So that would mean 2 minutes. 2 minutes and 5 seconds have passed since Chewie's death. But much to our relief. He's alive. Now, this is why I kept
Chewie's alive.
This is why I kept the Chewie death clock. Is that some may argue that was a weak bit of plot maneuvering there. That
I disagree. It's not that some may argue; it's that I will argue.
Right. So I came prepared.
Oh, you did.
Yeah. For me, this falls into the same category as somehow Palpatine returned. I was like, great. I'm glad we didn't have to pretend for a long time.
Exactly.
Is Chewie dead or not? Whatever. If we think, just give me a little fake out and then turn it right around. That's fine. I'm like, all right.
Right.
Good. Let's move on with the story.
But
let's compare this.
A better thing would be not giving us a fake out at all.
Well, let's compare. Poe, you may remember,
Poe
sunk into the sand. We all thought he was dead. We said Poe didn't make it. Someone said that. I believe it may have been Finn to BB-8, right? Mm-hmm. Poe didn't make it. 50 minutes and 30 seconds later, we see Poe. Now we have Leia in your favorite movie who is blasted into space. We were there for that. We were actually on this show talking about that.
That's right.
and dogs in vacuums and that sort of thing.
And I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I like that moment.
I didn't like that. I did not like that moment. For me, I didn't like that moment. So 1 minute and 10 seconds later, she moves her, you see a little movement in her hand. Mm-hmm. So that was a 1 minute and 10 seconds. All right. The Emperor, you may remember, died. He died in a movie called Return of the Jedi. Yeah. And it took, if you were going through the Star Wars collection, waiting to see what happened to him, if anything ever happened to him, you would have sat through 5 hours, 14 minutes, and 43 seconds of Star Wars footage to find out that he is alive. Darth Maul is another character who may have been sliced in friggin' half, literally sliced in half. Now it's hard to come back. It's hard to come back from that. If you go through, now there's two ways to do this. Release order.
It's easy, barely an inconvenience to come back from that.
It's 14 hours and 6 minutes of Star Wars footage you would have had to watch till he comes back. If you do it chronologically, removing 4, 5, and 6, because in real time, it'd be 6 hours and 55 minutes of Star Wars footage till that guy comes back. One more. Boba Fett.
All right.
Boba Fett.
Oh, yes, Boba Fett. Boba Fett. Yeah, okay. Forgot. That's a good one.
Chewed and digested. We would have assumed chewed and digested. Stomach acids. I mean, that's hard. That's not easy to come back from. Okay, that's not easy to come back from.
Chewy.
Depending on when you count him coming back, either when he sort of appears before Fennec or whether you see him completely. So it's either 4 hours and 49 minutes of Star Wars, material, or 8 hours and 15 minutes, depending on how you count it. Boba Fett comes back. Now, so I just was pointing out that a person was sliced in half, eaten, chewed and digested, we would have assumed. A person was, sunk into the sand, all that stuff. All we have here is something that really could have happened. Something that's very realistic, which is, mistaking this transport. There were two transports. One went, she thought that was the one with Chewie. I think that's like something that could happen in real life. And I think is actually way more defensible as a fake out and more, well written. I would argue.
All of those characters have a different
and 2 minutes,
emotional
2 minutes and 5
connection
seconds
to the audience. And to me, this feels like a cheap trick on the audience. It feels hostile to the audience to do this. Because
I felt that with Leia.
I didn't feel that because you stay with her the whole time. It's part of a single scene, and you see her. She's out in space, and then she wakes up. With this, you get these several scenes of. If the camera had stayed with Chewie and you saw that it wasn't his transport that went down, and you stayed with him, it might have been better than having to grab our emotions and make us feel that we had just witnessed Chewie's death. I agree that the reveal of the fake out coming quickly after makes it a little bit less heinous than if they had dragged it out for an hour or so, or dragged it out for 38 years, like someone else. But it just feels cheap, and then you end up with the reveal that he's alive, but then you still have these scenes of the characters talking about, we have to do this for Chewie, otherwise he would have died in vain. And these scenes are not meant to be comedic. They're meant to be serious. They're meant to be taken seriously, but they come off as comedic because we know what the characters don't know. And they end up looking like buffoons for those scenes. And it's definitely not what those scenes are intended. The effect of those scenes. They're not intended to be comedy scenes. That's how they play to me, because we know that he's really alive.
You know that now. So you assumed he wasn't. You assumed you knew.
No.
You guessed it right
After
off.
he's revealed in the doorway is when you have them talking about him.
Right. But I mean, we have that as a comedy moment in a lot of things, but also I feel like it's not, that the whole reason why not in this. I don't take it as comedy in this. I think that it is driving them. The whole reason why that fake out is there is because it is Rey being like, oh my God, I killed Chewie. And granted, they could have let us in on it a little bit, but I mean, they like we just discovered, it's 2 minutes. It's not like they let it drag on for a little while. They just within 2 minutes, we see that, she didn't really kill Chewie.
Well, so
why? That way we get a moment of being like, oh, Rey freaked out. Like Rey totally went nuts and Sith lightning and she blew up Chewie. And then she gets a moment of being like, oh my God, I killed Chewie. And then we're like, oh, we found Chewie like 2 minutes later. It's not even,
But I think that's a nice moment that she's like absolutely devastated about what she just did. I think that's a really complex moment that adds a lot to her character.
Until you see that it's not true.
Yeah,
but it still adds to it.
It still adds to it.
The fact that she freaked out, she did kill a bunch of other people. It just happened to not be the one that she knew. But the fact that she went overboard with that, like it's brought even further home for her by the fact that like, oh my God, I killed Chewie with this. Like not only did I lose control, I killed my friend. And it's like, oh thank God, I didn't kill my friend. But still, like it's like when you think you did something, you totally screwed something up. You deleted a file, or you emailed somebody the wrong thing, and you did something, and you're like, oh my God, I just ruined everything. And then you slowly get like, okay, wait, I just found this. No, oh, okay, I didn't ruin everything. Turns out we might be okay, but you still have that like, oh, thank God,
And they built in the compassion into that. Like it's not just that, but it's also the compassion. The like. Her just killing someone she loved. I mean, it's the worst thing that could possibly happen to Rey, knowing her character. I think it's worse for her than it would have been for Luke. I would argue.
The movie should have stuck with it and had him really die, because that would have meant so much more. That would have had so much deeper meaning. And I was going to say, it harkens back to the problem with Return of the Jedi, where Lawrence Kasdan wanted to kill off a major character early on in the film so that the stakes would be raised, so that the audience would know that this is serious. And of course, nobody wanted to do that. Well, we're not going to kill off anybody. We're not going to kill off Han Solo or anybody like that early on in the film. But it would have made the emotional stakes so much higher, and it would have grabbed the audience even more.
I also say that one of the things I don't like about it is that they basically do the same trick when C-3PO dies in a few minutes. They're like, oh, C-3PO has this tearful farewell to everyone, all my friends. And then, oh, he has a backup there.
It's cheapened by the film not committing to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't want them to commit to it.
No, nobody wants it.
I don't want either of those characters to
anybody to die. Nobody wants it.
I want someone to die. But it just seems like they're just using it as a cheap...
Is it you who shot Chris Radke?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have this ongoing argument with a friend of mine, whereas he hates The Force Awakens because they killed Han Solo, and I love The Force Awakens because they killed Han Solo. I felt it was a good death for him. He's a character. He's an epic character and has to have an epic death at some point in his continuity. A great character has to come to a great death. I thought, when they had Luke Skywalker die, that was a great death, and it's an important part of a character arc to have the end of that arc and to have them have a noble death. And I think Han died trying to bring his son back for Leia. And I think that was, having the courage to walk out on this catwalk with, no railing on it, knowing that it was probably dangerous. You'd think people would learn by now. But I thought that was him doing the right thing. And that was Han Solo. No matter what he is, he always does the right thing. And that was a good reason for him to die. A lot of people disagree, I know. But the fact that he had a death, the fact that his story came to an end, did not make it a bad movie for me. It made it a good movie.
But again, so we've had, each character, we kind of knew each character was going to die in each movie. You had Han, you had Luke, and we knew Leia was going to die in this movie. So you already had that. So if you had just, if you'd knocked off Chewie, it'd been like to me, it would have been a little too even. So I think it was a nice twist. I think that was a perfectly legitimate plot twist. Just like any misdirection. I mean, misdirection in a movie, I was looking at other movies that had fake out death, like Vertigo, right? Vertigo had a pretty, you could argue that was a lame fake out death, but it's just sort of interesting that, that was part of, Glass Onion, your pal, Ryan Johnson, right? That had a...
Friends with Ryan Johnson?
That was 37 minutes and 18 seconds between her getting shot and then being like, oh, I'm fine. I thought that was pretty awful, I thought. And so if you had placed that into this movie, I would have had a big problem with that.
To me, it feels cheap here. It doesn't work as like those other moments do.
All right. Well, we're not going to convince. You're obviously not going to convince each other that this. So maybe we should.
Just everybody, when you're listening to this or watching to this, and you're like, well, like Susan's making all these great points, and Joe's not saying anything. It's because I did the editing, and I agree with Susan. So,
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I actually had a full treatise that I read on the air, a full manifesto, and it included specific instructions to operatives. And for some reason, you cut that out. I don't know what happened there.
Your plan for world domination was accidentally foiled once again.
Yeah, never let someone else do the editing on your message to your cult.
Tell me about it.
Speaking of Chewie coming back, when we do see him, he gets this like majestic hero shot for a second of like Chewbacca.
Yeah.
We haven't seen him in almost 3 minutes. But it does.
You're making my case for me, Pete.
Well, I'm not a fan of the hero shot, but I get it. I understand why. And in the audience, in the movie, in the theater at the time, I feel like it did get a little woo kind of. One little one from the Sith Lord who lived on my palm.
I mean, you don't have time to be celebrant about him being still alive.
You got to keep moving faster.
I like that Hux describes him as the beast used to fly with Han Solo, which is both funny and sad. Funny because clearly Han Solo is famous enough where Hux is saying it as if, oh, that's going to impress everyone. But Chewbacca is not famous enough on his own to like, this is Chewbacca. He's like, oh, this is some monkey that other guy used to fly around with.
Yeah.
Well, I think Hux knows that that's his sworn enemy's father.
Right.
Doesn't he know that?
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Does he know that? I think he knows it. Right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, everybody knows
sure,
it. I think
right?
everybody knows it, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's an open thing. But,
it's
well,
famous.
and the Beast used to fly with Han Solo.
Oh, right. He's the Beast.
He's the Beast. From according to the Empire, he's the Beast. You know what I mean? That's so maybe they had him listed still. It's like, oh, this is the Beast. He used to fly with Han Solo.
That's like his profession stage name is the Beast.
Right.
Chew the Beast Bacca.
Chew the Beast Bacca, yeah. Also, I did note it when you take that out of context, it does sound like, I'm picturing the Beast from X-Men, and it sounds like something one of my kids would have made up while playing with their toys. Like the Beast used to fly with Han Solo, and Spider-Man and Darth Vader came, they teleported off, and then, just not playing by the rules.
Yeah. I thought it was the Beast of the Beauty and the Beast. I thought that's what he was commenting.
Oh, yeah.
He used to fly with Han Solo.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I thought he was talking about my ex-wife. Hey!
Oh.
That's not true. I've never been married. No woman would marry me.
We didn't talk about Richard Grant yesterday. Do you guys have any feelings on Richard Grant showing up as General Pride? Is that his name? General Pride? Father of Kitty Pryde?
Yeah, or as Ving Rhames calls him, General Pride. Pride never helps.
Pride.
It only hurts. You may feel a slight sting. That's pride.
So you should totally recut that.
Well, I think it's June, so we should celebrate Pride, right?
Oh, there you go. It's General Pride Month here on Star Wars Minute.
Yeah. He's not really dressed for it.
No. None of the First Order are.
No. He's not wearing a feather boa and G-string and whatever you wear for the parade. I don't know.
Should. Although that was part of Chewie the Beast Bacca's. Chewie the Beast Bacca's outfit.
Oh, yeah, that was his outfit. He went with the full sort of like the Jesse the Body type look with the feathers and things.
But that's all in his closet / bedroom on the Falcon.
We'll have to keep an eye out for how or if. I'm assuming Chewie gets his bandolier back, but I don't know how that would be. So we'll just have to keep an eye on it.
Yeah,
I hope so.
Ray grabs it. You see it. You see her. You see that.
Oh, because that's where the dagger is.
Yeah, it's with the dagger.
I haven't seen that part of it.
But they don't have the dagger.
I only watched it up until this part.
Not yet.
Okay.
Yeah. The dagger with the flagger and the brew that is true. Is it like from a Danny Kaye movie or something like that?
So meanwhile, back on the Bestoon Pride, the gang is trying to decide what to do, and Poe says they only have 8 hours left.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I lost track because it happened so long ago. I forget. What is the clock that they're trying to beat?
Because that's when the Sith fleet is going to attack or something like that.
They told them ahead of time. Okay, we're going to be there in 12 hours. So get your defenses ready. We're going to be there in 8 hours. Okay,
something like that. In the kind of standing around the same scene, you might have gotten distracted because it was somehow Palpatine returned. Same scene.
Right.
Wasn't it like in the transmission? They were getting right way in the beginning when they were getting transmissions.
Oh, with Bulio, I guess they didn't announce that they were going to attack.
Oh, yeah.
Bulio gave.
No, I think they did announce that.
That was the intel that they brought back.
I think they're going out of their way to
hours.
make it dumb. No, they totally announced it. They said we're going to be at this point at this time, so make sure no one's there to defend it. So anyway,
or it was the dead's. That's what the dead said when the dead spoke.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking, that they were.
hours.
Yeah, I think they were pretty straightforward. Like, yeah, you're gonna die at exactly this time. Get ready.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Hubris.
Yeah.
The hubris system.
And so then they're all like, we lost the dagger, we lost Chewbacca, and what are we going to do now? And C-3PO says, yes, it's a good gag, or he says, yes, it only lives now in my memory. I thought that was a good gag.
He's not facing them too, like the blocking of it, where he's just kind of like, he's doing this kind of, not passive aggressive, what is that? I don't know, but
oblivious.
He's like, yes, oh, it's a shame.
Oblivious, yeah.
It's only, but no, because it definitely seems like he wants them to kind of he wants to be important a little bit, but he's not like, he's trying to do it subtly because he knows whenever he's like, sir, it's in my memory. Everybody's like, shut up, 3PO, turn him off. But he's like, no, it's a shame, but it's only in my memory banks. I
didn't get that. I thought he was just kind of commenting on the irony of it. I don't imagine he was thinking, oh boy, I sure hope they tap into my brain.
Yeah, that was my read, was that he doesn't, and it's so funny. He says, it's an incredibly dangerous and simple act. It's incredibly dangerous, but really easy to do.
But simple.
Yeah, I thought that was
You
cute.
can totally do it.
That was really funny.
He says it's
Unless
sinful.
He is a little kinky and wants them to do it.
Wait, sinful or simple?
Kind of hinting at it.
I thought he said sinful.
Simple. Oh, did he say sinful?
Good thing I
He
have.
says sinful. I think he's really.
The Rise of
he feels this is
Skywalker.
in droid morality. This
Yeah,
is the worst thing you can do.
Well,
He's
that's
trying to
true.
emphasize how bad
whatever
it is.
the-
Oh yeah, I may have
the droid Bible
misheard
is.
it. I thought it was
says
funny
this
as
is against.
saying it was simple. Of course, I guess it wouldn't be simple because.
Like, oh, it's a disgraceful, that's sort of what he's saying, right? It's a hideous,
sinful.
And
yeah, that makes more sense.
act.
That makes more sense.
And then Finn says, "Sounds good. I'm in."
Yeah, I'm in.
That's pretty funny stuff, I will say.
Sadly, we don't have. He says, the translation from a forbidden language cannot be retrieved. That is sort of a complete redacted memory bypass. Complete what? Said Finn. See, complete what? Said Finn. That's like a one of those playground gags. C-3PO flailed his arms. Oh, it's a terribly dangerous act. Performed on unwitting droids by degenerates and criminals. No mention of sinful or simple.
I was just more struck by the use of droids being concerned with sin. It just seemed like a strange. A couple of minutes ago, we saw 3PO mentioning the afterlife
discussion.
Yeah. But
it's clear that the worst thing you can do in droid morality is like open up a droid's head with a can opener and remove his memory. I think that seems to make sense to me, right? Yeah. Let some little weird creature with a mustache go to town on the back of your head.
Bulk erase.
I wouldn't want
best
that
that
either,
you can
by the
do
way.
is fall in love.
Let's just say.
Poe knows a black market droidsmith.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like the I know a black market droidsmith. I don't know. That's such a.
Yeah.
Is that
remember
too,
that great Paul Simon album he did with Black Market Droidsmith?
Yeah.
Remember that?
I heard he didn't pay them or something there, right?
Oh, really? What a rat. What a rat.
I don't know.
Sounds about right.
But yeah, does that seem like, I know when I was a younger person, a teenager, let's say, I had a bootleg cassette that I had bought of a Guns N' Roses concert, I believe, at the flea market. And I was not aware of the terminology. And so I said, I got some illegal concert recording of my friend was like, illegal? Why would you call it that? It's a bootleg. I was like, what? Okay. So this seems similar to me. It struck that. I know a black market droidsmith. It's I know an illegal person who does that. It seems like why. I don't know.
There's got to be a colloquial term for it,
Yeah.
Like a scoozer. I know a scoozer. I know a good scoozer down on Jakiri, whatever that planet's called.
Kajimi.
Yeah.
Kajimi.
Oh, I heard he's been scoozing on the side, a little side hustle there, doing some scoozing.
Well,
it seems like I don't know, what. Well, not a complaint. I'm just it seems awkwardly phrased. To be yes, I know an illegal a person who does this illegally.
If they said pirate or something. I don't know. The way he says it, it makes you. I don't know if this is weird, but it just makes you think more of a very serious guy. Like you sort of picture the way he says it, and so it's more of a surprise when you see Babu Frick. If you had said a scoozer, like was that the word you just used, Joe? Scoozer.
That does sound.
You can make up a new one. That's not an Urban Dictionary yet.
I know. But I just
throw in your own term.
I know, but it's a cute. So that's a cute word, and so you might picture more of a cute. You know what I mean? You want to picture like a serious. So it's a big surprise when you see. And let me say, like Baby Yoda, that's a character that should not have worked. It was, or like Yoda himself, you know, it's just such a risk to do that kind of character, and they nailed it. They just nailed it so hard. It's so perfectly done. I don't know why.
I love it.
I don't know how they do it. Yeah, it's so good.
I do love him. I wish he was on screen this week because I would have, I would have liked to give him some attention. I came out of the movie and I was bummed out about just about everything except Babu Frick, and I thought I can't wait for more Babu Frick.
And Dio, you said you like Dio.
And I do like Dio.
There you go. That's two things.
He's sort of that's a couple. Well, there's a lot of things. Like we were just talking about this little comedy moment with C-3PO, which is funny and works, and it's effectively shot. I mean, I think most of my problems with this movie is just I think it's incompetently made. That's not a huge problem. No, okay. So like in this moment, you have Chewie. They open the door and Hux is there, and there's a great comedy moment where Chewie roars and it blows Hux's hair all over the place.
Yes,
it's really funny and it's nice, but it's the gag is it's showing you an exaggeration of Chewie's power
and Hux's humiliation.
Hux's constant, never-ending humiliation, and Chewie's incredible power that just with his breath he can move, and he's like. That hippopotamus cartoon, but the problem with it is if that's great, but then why is he such a pushover getting arrested? You know, that's not the Chewie I know. That's the opposite of Chewie. That's crunchy. What
are you talking about?
That's not the Chewie I know.
The
pushover getting arrested. The only time Chewie's ever been a pushover getting arrested is when it was a ruse, when like Bush brings him into Jabba's palace, but. Other times, you have him going bull goose loony in the carbon freeze chamber, and Han has to hold him back and say, "Don't do this now," because he knows he's going to rip some heads off or something. That's Chewie,
Well, but he's already in chains at that point. He's already been captured. Maybe not in chains, but he's already kind of captured. Subdued.
It should take 10 guys to capture him, and they should have to put him in a Hannibal Lecter mask to restrain him because he's big and powerful. I mean, it should have been more than just putting a gun in the small of his back and saying, all right, you're under arrest.
I think you're working very hard to minimize that really wonderful moment where he's blowing off when he's breathing on Hux. That's a really great little moment.
It speaks to his incredible power.
It speaks to the good writing, the good acting, and the comedy and the little subtle details that really make this movie. And you're just working really hard to undo that.
It's a great but unearned moment because he's just been arrested with zero effort from a bunch of stormtroopers. That doesn't.
You don't know what happened. They didn't show it.
It's very un-Chewie. It's very un-Chewie.
To add a third flavor to the pot,
they did show it. You see him being led into the ship.
I don't really like that moment, but I do like I don't feel it's unearned, but I don't like it either. So
don't like what?
Right.
Just him blowing Hux's hair back with his breath and all that. I was like, it's a bit much for me.
I mean, the joke of Chewie is that he's incredibly strong, even when he's not trying to be. Okay, great. Then it should have taken a lot more effort to bring him in.
But let me...
it should have taken a lot more resources to bring him in.
I said I was going to come back with... we were going to talk about people's breaths, bad breath, etc. Got the novelization here that for this scene, it says, Hux led Pride to the door of a holding cell just outside the incineration hangar. See? That again. The shiny black floor around it was peppered with sand and dust from the planet Pisana. Hux was about to point it out to the stormtrooper guarding the door, but an MSE-6 series droid scurried over to take care of the mess, and Hux decided to let it go for now. Instead, he signaled to the stormtrooper that they were ready. The door swicked away, revealing an impossibly tall and hairy creature in manacles surrounded by more troopers. When it saw Hux and Pride, it moaned loudly, revealing long teeth. Its breath smelled like something had crawled up into its throat and died. Sweet stars, but Wookiees were disgusting creatures. The beast used to fly with Han Solo, Hux said to Pride. The Wookiee roared, blowing Hux's hair back. General managed to keep from recoiling, but he felt his cheeks quiver with the effort. Have it sent to interrogation 6. Pride said dismissively. Pride headed away, and Hux followed, secretly relieved to get out of range of those teeth. So,
sweet stars.
Sweet stars, but Wookiees were disgusting creatures.
Jumping
They're
baby
disgusting
Yodas.
creatures, but you've never slept better than in one's lap.
There you go.
So, and I wish I could try.
Well, we will be on our way to. Well, we'll talk more about. I know the gang is going to decide to go talk to that Drac Market Bloyd Smith. But they're going to continue this conversation. They're going to make up their mind tomorrow. Can you guys come back tomorrow to finish out the week with us?
What?
I know.
I guess. Well,
why
figure
not?
Well,
What's tomorrow? What comes after Thursday? I forget.
March?
It's Friday. Gotta get down on Friday. Let's do it. Yeah. Before we go, I do have some additional trivia.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, please hit us with the trivia.
I do have some more of the top 5, 10, 20 things you didn't know about Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. Starting with number 5. Mm-hmm. This is the 9th consecutive film in the saga to not end with a battle of the bands. They've never done it. I don't know why. Seems like it'd be great, like a climactic battle, of the, like in a high school gym. That should be. They do. I don't know about that. I mean, I do know that at the end of Return of the Jedi, the rebels had a pitiful little band, but I don't think we ever got to hear it. We never got to hear them play, so I don't know. Pitiful little band. And number 4, before John Williams signed on to do the score, producers toyed with the idea of making the entire soundtrack just that "Who Can Say" song from Enya. Who can say what the thing is doing here?
Oh, we're going to pay for it. We're going to pay for it.
Guy, who can say it? Well, I can't, apparently. Unless we pay for it. But that's some interesting factoids that I wasn't aware of.
Didn't know any
what
of that.
ifs?
Maybe you weren't either.
And what's if? On that note, or those notes rather, the sweet, soothing sounds of Enya, let's clock out for today. Hey, speaking of sweet, soothing sounds, we wanted to thank Michael Cassidy of Don't Stop or We'll Die for providing this season's closing theme song.
Speaking of Babu Frick.
It's so good.
I love that
so
song.
Good, so good.
I love the song.
If you are not familiar with Don't Stop or We'll Die, check them out. They are available anywhere you can get music, and they are one of my favorites. So thanks again for that, and thanks again for listening. Hopefully we'll meet you all back here tomorrow for a brand new episode of Star Wars Minute.
Star Wars Minute.
Who can say?